Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today I've got a different video than what I normally do. I'm normally not in handheld mode and I normally am not walking around my basement. But I've had a lot of people ask me how I record my videos. So I want to take the time to make sure how everybody understands how I go through the process. I'm going to show you the two different ways I record. I record one with my videos on demand, which are all edited and pre-recorded in kind of a really tight, professional looking way. And then I also record live plays as well. And I've been doing some really fun things with Colin lately. And so with that, I want to make sure everybody understands what I do and how I do it. So I'm going to put you behind the table and you're going to see everything I do so that if it's something you're interested in, you can see how I do it. And maybe you can create your own ways of doing things that are probably better than mine. Or it gives you a chance to understand that maybe you can do this yourself. I'm not going to show you any tricks or secrets. I've got nothing to hide. And I want everybody else to be able to do this if it's something they're very interested in. So sit back, enjoy the video, and now you can see how the creation happens on Meet Me at the Table. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that I do use a green screen when I do all of my live plays, and I'm going to do my very best to link what I use in the description of this video. For it's something you think you might want to pick up, you'll be able to find it. I might not get exactly everything right because it's been over time that I've been slowly collecting these things to be able to use as recordings. And just recently, a lot of this stuff has really been, I've been gaining a lot of momentum on this thanks to all the help from my Patreons. And if it's something you're interested in helping out my channel, feel free to check out my Patreon link in the description of this video. So as I was saying, I do have a green screen that I use behind me. It's just on a pole and it's just basically a piece of green cloth that I picked up on Amazon. I am going to move to my table now, and I will tell you this was I'm doing this right after I got done filming a video with Colin. We just got done doing Oathsworn. I have removed everything from it that could potentially spoil the game, so you're not going to have to worry about spoilers. Anything you see on the table is just characters and potentially a couple character boards and the main game board. So nothing else is there that you're going to have to worry about being spoiled from. So here is what my table looks like. It is going to look like, let's see if I can find my button on my phone. There it is. It looks like this. This is where my table is. It's a kind of inlaid table that I'm able to put all the neat things out on. What I use here is this is my green screen camera. This is just a green screen mouse. It's just a regular mouse pad that you can pick up. I use just a standard tripod. This I think if I remember right, this is the very first tripod I ever bought. And it's about 14 or 15 bucks again I found on Amazon. And you can get mouse pads for pretty cheap. Just make sure they're green, of course, if you want to use them as a green screen. I mean, after all, it's not going to do too much good if it's not a green screen. But now the funny thing is some of the games coming out now, they're putting more green into their games, so it's becoming kind of funny. The next thing I use is I do have this microphone over here. It's not a Yeti. That's actually going to be my next upgrade, as I want to get a Blue Yeti. Blue Yetis are fantastic for this type of thing. And as you can see, I've got even more tripods. I have this tripod as well. I use this one for mainly my videos on demand as well, and I'll show you how that works when I get to that video. But on it, I have a face cam. I picked up one of these face cams, and not only that, I picked up a second face cam. So the one camera you see in the lower left-hand corner of my live videos is going to be this face cam over here, and that's mine. And then Colin's is up here. He uses those. I do keep my monitor up here as well. I think I picked this up at used on Facebook Marketplace or something, because I wasn't looking for something that was super big and super important. All I needed to do was make sure that things were going well on the screen. That's all I cared about. This thing down here is how I'm able to get all of your messages to come up onto the screen. So I keep up my OBS right here because that's going in real time. And I'm able to make sure that everything's flowing nicely through my OBS. If you're actually watching it on YouTube, you're delayed a little bit, so it's sometimes a little bit tougher. But over here on this screen, this is where the YouTube comments are coming in. So I'm able to just pick out the comments I want and they'll send them right up onto my OBS screen, and that's how you can see all the different things that are coming up. The next thing I have is this camera over here. This is my oldest setup I've had. I don't use this very much. The only reason it's set up is because I wanted that side shot so people could see some of the miniatures and how they're towering up, and it's not just an overhead shot. Speaking of overhead, I use this. This is just a webcam, and I will link this one in the description. And I can figure out which one it is. It's a webcam that's used pretty often. And I do have not only one, but I have 3 of these different tripods that are coming, or not tripods, but just camera mounts. And inside each of these mounts that I'm using for my player boards, I'm using just old iPhones. This is my very first iPhone I ever got. So actually, I think it's my wife's because it's pink. It's my wife's iPhone. I use my wife's old iPhone. That's her iPhone, and the old iPhone I used to have is the one I'm using over here. This is my old iPhone. All of this stuff is linked to OBS in order to be able to capture everything. And that's the software I use when it comes to doing my live recordings. The one that is actually mounted right here, that is the one I'm holding in my hand right now. It's my newest model iPhone, and this iPhone is also the one I now record all my videos on demand on. And it's only been within the last 2 or 3 months that I've switched to this iPhone. In the past, I've used this iPhone for absolutely everything, which is a iPhone XR, I think, and it's always the XR Max. I always try to get the Max one so I can have a bigger screen because I usually read all the cards through the screen. I hope you're able to keep up with this, and I hope I'm not going too fast, though I have a tendency to be really excited about things and go way too fast most of the time. Anyway, that's really primarily what my live setup is like. So you have the 2 overhead cameras here that are catching our player boards, and that's usually how I have it set up. And then this one is catching my main board, or the main things we're doing here, and then I have a green screen in the middle where you're able to put cards down that can then appear on the screen. There is one more thing I have, and I do have a Stream Deck. This is really cool because that's how I'm able to move between all the different scenes and all the different parts of the board. I always kind of have a northwest, northeast, southeast, and southwest board setup that I program the cameras to be able to move around inside of based on that. And that's also how I can get from all the different player boards and move between the different cameras is all through this Stream Deck. I don't ever have to touch the computer. Once this thing is up and running on OBS, the Stream Deck does it all. I don't have any other thing that I use, which is pretty cool. I guess there is one more thing I use, and I use it for both my videos on demand, and I also use it for my live streams, and that's these 2 lights. These are the only 2 lights I have on. I only use these 2. I'm going to turn them on momentarily. You can see how bright they are. I do not have these on. These are my overhead lights in my house, and as you can see, it glares off the board. I don't like that. That is one of the hardest things to do, is to prevent glare in a video. So I've tried my best to not do it, and the best way to do it is to not have an overhead light shining right down on top of everything. So let's turn those lights on so you can see what it looks like with all that on. Here you see the lights, they are on, they're shining onto my game board. It is not exactly where I normally put them because I had to move them when I was done with the recording that Colin and I did. But it does come with a neat little remote control that I can change the color of these if I wish to for warm and cool. And they also have a brightness white. I actually always use the white setting. I don't use any of the other settings on this remote control because I like to have it as bright as I possibly can because that's just how I like to record. So that's really the live stuff. I do use a computer, and if you're interested in all the specs on the computer, I guess you can message me and I'll try to tell you what I use, but do be aware that all of these different things that I have pumping through these cameras, these are all going into a USB. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different, 9, I guess, different things going into USB ports on a computer. So if you're interested in doing a setup with this many cameras, you do have to have a lot of USB ports. And some of these I did find, it took me a little while to figure this out, is that some of these, especially these 2 Elgato face cameras, take a lot of power out of a USB port. And I'm not a computer expert or not, but I had to actually talk to Kanji. He had to explain kind of how it all worked for me, and he was able to set me up with another, I had to insert another USB whole hub into my computer so that it could run all of this stuff at once. But now that I've got that taken care of, I don't think I'm going to be changing this too much. I'll be upgrading other things again as time goes on, thanks to all the help from the Patreons. Anything I get from them, I do pump right back into this channel, whether it be games or potentially, like, I'm working towards a new microphone right now. I'd like to get that Yeti microphone. I think that'll be a really good microphone and really help with some of the sound that I'm not exactly satisfied in, but I'm okay with it for now. This is the live. Let me show you what I do for my videos on demand, which are just my straight, like, professionally as professionally as just a guy who sits in his basement and records video games or board games can be, as professional as that can be. So let me show you what I do. Again, I'm just going to use where I am from what I was just playing as an example of how I do all of this fun, awesome stuff. And I do want to mention I am using a lapel mic. Usually I don't. I have this hidden when I'm recording. Well, actually, it sits right here when I'm recording normally for videos on demand because I don't really have to see myself. But if I'm ever doing any of my channel updates or stuff, I do actually attempt to hide it somewhere so it doesn't hang out like this. I'm not a big fan of it. But That's beyond the point. This is not a professional video. This is how I record my videos because I want you all to have a chance at being able to do the same thing I do because it's super fun and it's super exciting to do. Let's get down to the table and show you what I do. We are going to use this for just an example. I don't have any power to it right now. It's not the end of the world. Normally I have a fully charged iPhone when I start, and I will just use one of these tripods and it'll get this close down to the board. And as I'm recording this, I will be moving this around. So it takes a little time to set up each shot that I'm doing. So say I need to do a player board, I would move this over here, get the shot exactly right, and then I would hit the record button on it, get what I need out of the shot, and then I would stop it and move it to the next place so that everything so that everything looks as crisp and as nice as possible, because I like everybody to understand what is going on in the game, especially when it comes to dice rolls and cards being able to read, which is my next trick. I'm going to show you how I do that as well. What I do is I use, again, the iPhone. I come straight from back here. I will take a card. This is just a turn order card. It's nothing that has to do with the game. And I will take it right up to the camera and read it. For example, if this is where the card is, I have different settings on my iPhone that I use. I'm just using a random setting right now, so it might not work perfectly well, but we'll see how it goes here. But I'll take my card and I bring it right up and read it word for word through the iPhone to you. And I know it's not exactly the greatest visibility right now, just because I'm on a different camera lens for my iPhone than I normally use for recording. But that's how I do it. I bring these right up to the camera and I just read them straight through the camera lens, so I know that it's in the picture, it's in focus, and it's right there for you to read. Because that way, again, we're all playing the game together, which is how I enjoy doing this. I like to make everybody feel like we're all a group. We're all meeting at my table and we're all playing these games together. And then after that's done, I will take all of that footage and I will stick it into iMovies, and I will just edit everything through there, all through iMovies. I'll take out all the dead space that I have, any mistakes that I have in reading, because if you've ever heard me read without being able to do that, I stutter I don't stutter, but I do make a lot of mistakes. After all, I am learning disabled in written English language, so I read real slow, and I also don't have the greatest pronunciation skills, and I can't spell to save my life. That's just I just got blessed with that, I can tell you. So that's how I do my videos on demand. It's just one single iPhone, this microphone, again, the two lights that I use, and the game I'm playing. That's all I use. So if you're interested in doing these kind of things, that's a great place to start. You don't have to start with this huge setup that I use for my live streaming. Again, that took years to actually get all the different components for. All I started with was an iPhone, this $15 lapel mic, this $15 tripod, and any games that I had on my shelf. So if you're interested in having people meet you at your table, that is how you begin. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this helps. I hope this answers any questions. Of course, if you do have any other questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, or please email me. I have no problem telling you how and what I do to make these videos happen. I've had other people contact me and ask me, and I've made them quick videos. And so now that I've had a few more, I thought, why don't I make a real video that people can watch and understand exactly what I do? Because I don't have any secrets. I don't have any tricks. This is just what I do. I guess I should go one step closer or forward, I guess. One more step. I'm going to take one more step. And that step is I also do live painting videos. And the way I do my live painting videos is I only use two of the cameras and my microphone. That's it. I will use this camera here. That's the one that I have my overhead shot of my painting station. My face camera is the face cam is what I use for when I'm having a close-up of myself and I'm talking to everybody. And the only other camera I use, again, is the iPhone I'm using right now, and that's the one I paint through. That's all I use. There is nothing else. So it's really, again, a nice quick system to get yourself up and running. That's all you need. And like I said, if you're interested in doing the videos on demand, which is where I started, all I used was an iPhone, a $15 tripod, and a $15 microphone. And then just your passion for gaming. That's all you need in order to do this. So there you go. That's it. I'm done. I'm not going to talk anymore. Because you know me, I could probably talk forever. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped. And if it did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course hit that bell symbol so you know when more videos come out. I'm not probably going to do too many more off-the-cuff videos like this anymore, but who knows, as time goes on, maybe this will become a thing. And if you're interested in supporting the channel, my Patreon link is in the description below. Feel free to join. Of course, the people there do get a chance to not only help decide what we do in games, but they're helping me along with or creating a better environment for for this channel. Like I said, some of the stuff that I've gotten recently has become because of that Patreon. It's been really awesome to have that support, so thank you so much. Other than that, I think that's it. So if you're excited to make your own table and have people meet you at it, then that is all you have to do. So instead of me having you meet me at my table, I'm going to say, I want you to meet you at your table. Thank you so much.